Here we are at the Pai Pai Day Use area in the El Dorado National Forest. And we will be taking a trail that goes along the middle fork of the Cosumnes River, which is flowing nicely right now. Along the river here are huge expanses of rock, and what we're seeing here is a mortar that was undoubtedly used to grind seeds, especially black oak acorns. I'll turn around, and now we can see the middle fork of the Cosumnes River again. And across the river, and actually in the river, we've seen the flowers and inflorescences of Dalmera peltata, or umbrella plant, also sometimes called Indian rhubarb. And that's because they have these ginormous leaves that can be more than a foot across, that will grow later, and in the fall turn gorgeous colors. A lovely member of the pink family to carry off lace eve. This is Lemon's catchfly. Selene, lemony eye, has lovely sticky glands and these beautiful dangling flowers with exerted or sticky out reproductive parts, the stamens and the pistil. Really cute. Here's California hazelnut, or Coriolus cornuta, and it's a wonderful deciduous plant, a tree, small tree, doesn't ever get really big, and it does make hazelnuts, real hazelnuts that you can eat, which is fine. And also it has really lovely soft leaves that make a fine toilet paper substitute. Oh, maybe we shouldn't put that out. A very common fern, actually it's a Cosmopolitan Fern. This is Bracken Fern, or just Bracken. Pteridium aquilinum, lovely fern. And it's got its lovely little turtlenecks right now. Oops, sorry. Focus not great. There we go. Another member of the saxifrage family, Boykinia. Not in flower right at the moment, but you can see the really saxifrage-like leaves, palmately lobed and toothed, which is really common in the saxifrage family. Here is a knocked over member of the heath family, surprisingly enough. In the Ericaceae, this is snow plant, Sarcodes sanguinea, named for the lovely red color of this inflorescence. It is considered either a saprophyte or a parasite. However, it's been recently noted that there is actually an exchange, and that both the trees that this plant connects to through mycorrhizae, or fungi that are in the soil, can also benefit from the relationship with the Sarcodes. Here is another snow plant, Sarcodes sanguinea, and it's called snow plant because sometimes it comes up through some snow up here in the mountains. It is a member of the heath family, the Ericaceae, but does not photosynthesize. It gets all of its nutrients through mycorrhizae in the soil, which are soil fungi that attach to the roots of plants. And so the fungi will also attach to the roots of surrounding trees, and in that way the Sarcodes, the snow plant, will derive its nutrients, both carbohydrate and mineral. Here is the middle fork of the Cosumnes along the Pipi Trail, where we're seeing just gorgeous, beautiful rocks in the river, where the river has calmed down, widened out, flattened out. Just a beautiful sight today, with the spring green of the trees and the low plants too. A gorgeous sight. Here's a nice resting spot along the trail. Lovely little platform that looks over the river. It's a bench you can sit on. Great place to stop and have a snack or lunch and enjoy the beauty of the river. We've got Alder Hill on this, right next to the river, which is its swamp. A nice spot to look at the conifers. We've got incense cedar, Calisebris decurrens, with its lovely shredding and reddish bark. We also have, of course, some ponderosa pine, Pinus ponderosa. We also have some fir across the river, some white fir, baby's corn color. We also have Douglas fir here too, which is Pseudotsuga mendacea. There are some smaller ones just right in front of us there. Here is a lovely little low-growing member of the Polemoniaceae, the phlox family. This is Colomia heterophila. See, it has these lovely little, heterophila means that leaves that differ, and you can see that the leaves are variable here. Some are deeply lobed, some are not. Lovely little pinkish white flowers. Look up. Here's a mountain dogwood. Unfortunately, no flowers on it right now. It's just gorgeous, of course. It's a little past blooming time. But what's interesting about this is that it has debris that have been caught in the branches. Here's the river right over here. And you can see the debris that got caught in the branches. It tells you that sometime in the past, probably this last winter, that the water got at least that high. And here is a beautiful, pretty large mountain dogwood. Cornus natalii, after a botanist named of Nuttall. And they have these lovely inflorescences and what looks like flower petals are actually not. These are actually bracts, leaf-like structures that are underneath the actual flower cluster, as it were, which is right in the center, and it looks kind of green. There's a bundle there of a bunch of tiny flowers. Gorgeous plant. Here is a cottonwood tree. This is black cottonwood. It grows at higher elevations in the mountains than the Fremont's cottonwood that we see down in the valley and the foothills, and actually over in the desert too, by the way. This is Populus, Trichocarpa. Really lovely leaves that are more elongated, more deltoid shape than in the Fremont cottonwood. Oh, and here is the lovely bleeding heart, Dicentra formosa. So incredibly gorgeous. But you know what? This is interesting. It belongs to the poppy family. And it has these lovely flowers. Hey, let me get that in focus for you. There we go. And those lovely divided leaves. Gorgeous plant. Here is a Larkspur Delphinium. Not sure which one this is, but it is very gorgeous. I like it because it's very pale. Very pale flowers. And larkspurs belong to the buttercup family, the Ranunculaceae. Here we come to an open area next to the trail at Pipi, where we have a really beautiful lupin, a low-growing lupin with grayish kind of leaves. And this is Lupinous grayi, or grayei. Has lovely purple flowers. And also growing with that lovely little larkspur that we were just seeing a ways back, with very pale flowers, very whitish to pale lavender. And ahead of us, just across this bridge, we see a lovely wet meadow, which is full of corn lily, veratrum. Also in this drier open area, we have a lovely member of the Brodea family, the Thymadaceae, and this is Tritolea ixoides, or ixioides, named for a plant called ixia, which has a similar kind of flower, so that's how it got its name. And this is Pretty Face. This lovely little lily family member right next to the trail in that drier open area. This is Calochordus minimus, or star tulip. White star tulip is one common name. Beautiful little, or Mariposa lily is another common name. And here is wild strawberry, Frigeria vesca. And the things about the strawberries, these wild strawberries, is that if you ever get a chance to eat one, they are the sweetest, most flavorful strawberries that you have ever eaten. Notice with this really just a slight little breeze that the leaves of this black cottonwood are trembling, just like trembling or quaking aspen. And aspen belongs to the same genus, the same group that cottonwoods do, and poplars do. They're all in the genus Populus, and they all have this wonderful leaf characteristic that tremble in the wind. And the reason is because of a very interesting leaf stem, or petiole. So the leaf stem is actually flat on one side, so they're flattened. And so even the slightest breeze will cause the leaves to tremble. And before us is this beautiful wet meadow, a beautiful wet mountain wet meadow. And we are just now crossing one of the tributaries of the river. So we're going over a creek, and there's all kinds of creekside willows, for example. And there's also a lupin down here. We can call it big leaf lupin. This is Lupinous Polyphyllus. It's not in bloom right now. It has these really big leaves. We always find it on the banks of even a small creek, or the banks of a wet meadow like this, along with the cottonwood. The black cottonwoods like water too. And here we have a little bit more close-up of the corn lily, which is Veratrum californicum. And this is very common wet meadow plant up here in the mountains. Along the boardwalk that goes on the wet meadow, we find here's a wet-loving plant, although it is also found in drier habitats. This is a Cinco Foil, or sticky Cinco Foil. It is a member of the rose family. Lovely little yellow flowers. There's something else with little yellow flowers along here though. Let's see if we can bring that up. Zoom in. So what we're seeing there is buttercup. So buttercup flowers have similar flowers to the rose, except their petals are really shiny. And they have all separate pistils in the middle. And their leaves are divided in a different way. So this is Ranunculus occidentalis, or Western Polyphyllus. And here is this great boardwalk that goes right along the meadow, in between the greater part of the meadow. We follow the cornmeal. And then on the other side, beachside plants and trees, shrubs. And there is, again, this part of the middle part of some nature. With the family enjoying it on this rather warm day. Here are the really big leaves of cow parsnip, which is now Heracleum maximum. It used to be called Heracleum linatum because it has soft hairs, linatum having to do with wool, soft wool. But its name changed to Heracleum maximum. And this is a lovely member of the carrot family, the Apiaceae. So it puts out these huge inflorescent stalks with big umbels of tiny flowers. And that'll come up here pretty soon, probably in the next couple of weeks. A special treat and a kind of a little higher, drier spot within this meadow. Well, we've got the cow parsnip, a lot of cow parsnip that is surrounding this little sandy hill here, but what's growing on the sandy hill is such a wonderful little plant. This is 5 spot. And this is Pneumophila Maculata. Maculata means spotted. What do you know? And this is a member of the borage family, the Boraginaceae. It is in the same group, the same genus, together with baby blue eyes. You know, baby blue eyes. But isn't this the most marvelous thing? Oh, my hat's in the way. I'll dim this down a little bit. Isn't that the most darling thing you've ever seen? Look at this patch. Oh my goodness, and it's getting visited by all these lovely little flies that are going crazy over the nectar. Just beautiful. Okay, this is called trail plant. It's actually a member of the sunflower family. It'll put up flowers a little bit later on. They're small little white flowers and flower heads. But what's cool about trail plant is why it's called that, and its name is Adenicolon bicolor. That's because it has, guess what, 2 colors, and it's on the leaf. So if you reach down and you turn the leaf over, look how white it is on the backside. Well, notice that the leaves are really close to the ground. So as people walk by, these leaves can be, you know, turned over by people just kicking them with their feet. And hence, then you know where the trail is, and hence this is trail plant. So here, right next to this creek, which is a tributary to the river, and a bridge that goes over just after you pass by the wet meadow, there is this waterleaf plant. This is Western waterleaf, Hydrophyllum occidentale. So Hydrophyllum means waterleaf, and occidentale, of course, means western. So western waterleaf. It's now a member of the borage family. There used to be a family called the Hydrophyllaceae, or the waterleaf family. But it was included, all the members of that family were included in the borage family, the Boraginaceae. And that's because they were found to form what's called a monophyletic group, which is a common ancestor and all of its descendants. So very closely related, in other words. I'm following a bumblebee here. So, no matter its taxonomy, it's a lovely plant with these lovely inflorescences and those exerted or sticky out reproductive parts, the stamens. We're walking back to the parking area, having had a wonderful walk on this beautiful day. There's the information sign, and there's a lovely campground here. Be a great place to camp, and because it's right by the river, there's so much shade. Each site has plenty of room. Really a lovely spot. So, and then there's a really nice picnic area in the day use area. So even if you just come for the day, it's just a really beautiful spot.